Glenn,
You got to send me that.
Glenn, you get 50% discount.
Well, I'm only like 50% Hispanic, so the other part is Italian.
No, it's a one drop theory with this motherfucker.
Oh well, then I'm North African too, so I'm 5% North African, so I could say niggas all day long.
Oh, you can get away with. You don't even need to pay.
I could even get reparations with the one drop policy.
Nice. 1 second, guys, in the basement. I just got to put up a banner, but just 20 seconds.
Racists do not.
10 seconds.
Sign up for the N-word pass today. You'll get to say it while you get rich.
You got to send me that. That's hilarious.
It's in the regular chat right now. Do you want the private chat?
Oh, just text it to me if you can.
Okay,
So
I will. No, you'll have it in 60 seconds. 1 second here.
Cool. But
Snowman,
I've been saying the N-word. I've been saying the N-word.
That's you, John Wayne.
What's going on,
for a
Dennis?
second. Angry Snowman, say something, and then Glenn's going to sign off.
Yeah, you're a homo.
Snowman,
what's
up,
You are
fam?
correct. You are correct. Go ahead, Glenn, with your sign off.
Oh yeah,
I've been saying, hold on, Glenn. I've been saying the N-word my whole life, and I have not gotten
You
rich
have
off
black
of
kids.
it.
You have
So
black kids.
please donate to 10th Man so I can be rich vicariously.
Yes, please. All right. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Like, it's good talk. I mean, I know
I'm here because somebody conflated ability with freedom. So my bat cave signal went off.
Okay.
What does it?
I said I'm here because somebody conflated ability with freedom. So the signal went off in my bat cave.
Who inflated ability with freedom?
I'm not sure. I got the message here. So hold on, let me check it.
Yeah,
let me check the details.
Statement?
Turns out it was Glenn.
Of course. I'm trying to. What did I say exactly that it inflated ability with freedom?
Let's see. Oh yes, you falsely claimed that freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Sir, that's exactly what freedom of speech means, is the lack of consequences for speech.
No, from the government.
No, that's the First Amendment. That's not freedom of speech.
Yeah, you have the right to say what you want, but you don't get to avoid the consequences of what you say.
That's the First Amendment. Having consequences for what you say is a lack of freedom on speech, sir. That's what those words mean.
You get to
yeah,
say what
Dennis,
you
but
say.
you're talking about a lack of consequences with establishment. That don't mean a lack of consequences with individuals.
Yeah,
that's the First Amendment. That's not freedom of speech. No, you're conflating the First Amendment with freedom of speech in general.
No, because like you have the right.
I'm gonna leave you be. I see what you at.
But I could punch you in the face for what you said. That doesn't mean I won't face consequences for what my actions are. I still have to face them, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to face consequences either.
Freedom is not ability.
Hold on. So it says
that's the First Amendment. That's not freedom of speech.
I'm bowing out of
freedom of speech is included inside the First Amendment, but the First Amendment is not freedom of speech.
I'm bowing out of this conversation before I do my usual and cuss Dennison the fuck out.
Yeah, calm down. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for the rest.
So technically, hate speech laws are a violation of the First Amendment.
Correct.
You are correct. But it says shall make no law. So nowhere in here does it say the citizen can't punch you in the face.
This is the First Amendment. It's not freedom of speech. Again, you're conflating the First Amendment with freedom of speech.
Or abridging.
Yeah, freedom of speech is mentioned in the First Amendment. It's not the same thing.
I don't understand your distinction.
What he's saying
is the First Amendment the press?
Stop yelling.
No, what he's saying is you actually have to dig deeper to what the definition of freedom of speech itself is.
Okay.
Freedom of speech is speech without consequences, speech without coercion, speech without punishment. you're free to speak freely. That's what freedom of speech is. When you start putting restraints, coercion, force, punishment, and attaching it to speech, acts of speech, those are all limitations on speech. The government isn't the only one who can limit your speech. Dumbasses who think they can punch you in the face for what you say can also limit your speech. Now, in a society where we punish people for punching people for what they say, you could argue that's still a free speech society, because you can't stop every motherfucker from breaking the law or overreacting. But if you try to make it okay and make it acceptable for people to punch you in the face for things that you say, you are clearly not living in a free speech society.
So
You know what the fucked up thing is, though? I could do you something about your freedom of speech, but you can't do nothing about that punch in the face.
Of course I can. In America, that would be illegal. What I say is legal. What you punching me for it is illegal.
Yeah,
so I could have you arrested for that.
But the fact that it's illegal doesn't mean that you still won't get punched in the face.
Yeah, I can come out of county jail and then punch you in the face a second time for going to county jail.
Exactly.
I already went over that.
And
you can't stop someone from violating principles or breaking the law. The fact that the government will put you in jail for doing it. Yeah, as long as the government will put you in jail for it, that's a respect to free speech from the government. A society that respects free speech won't go around punching people for things that they say. Cowards punch people for things that they say.
Okay, you know what the sad thing is?
Low impulse control criminals punch people for what they say.
So
I'm one of those, because if somebody like Speakeasy keeps on talking shit and saying shit about me that's not true, is trying to tarnish my name and reputation, I'm gonna punch him in the fucking face just to make sure he doesn't speak anymore, right? That's something I would do.
Then you're what's crazy? Anything who doesn't respect freedom of speech.
Anything that somebody sits here and tells you that you have a right to, and you feel like you only have a right to it because someone told you had a right, you don't got no freedoms at all anyway. You should be naturally who the fuck you are, regardless of other people's idealism of boundaries and restraints.
Just before Glenn goes, I gotta go say something, Glenn. But then I gotta just before you go, I gotta ask Denizen something.
Yeah, real quick. Okay, so it says the government cannot punish or restrict you from expressing your opinions, beliefs, or ideas. It's protected against the government's actions.
That's the
not
First
against
Amendment.
Criticism.
You're conflating the First Amendment with free speech
or private companies.
That's the First Amendment.
So we'll get into the First Amendment.
I'm reading the Constitution of the definition of it. So courts have.
I'm not talking about the First Amendment.
I'm talking about freedom of speech. That's like
the courts don't interpret freedom of speech. They interpret the First Amendment.
Can I finish reading this?
I wish you wouldn't, because you're wasting time.
Just give him a second. I want to try to finish this.
Speech broadly it includes spoken and written words, political speech, right? Religious expressions, symbolic speech, artistic expressions, and peaceful protest. That's what the Supreme Court has repeatedly held. Even offensive, controversial, or unpopular speech is protected.
Yes.
What is not protected? Freedom of speech is not absolute. The government can regulate certain categories: incitement or amidst lawless actions, true threats, defamation, obscenities, fraud, and certain forms of harassment.
Because look, hold on, Glenn. What Denison's getting at is the idea of free speech. The idea of free speech is a fundamental democratic principle that supports the freedom of an individual or community to articulate their opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. That's all it is.
Thank you.
Pause. I'm trying to understand something. So, Denizen, do you believe that Eric Brandt should never have served a day in jail?
I don't know.
Okay, because he said that he wished that somebody would do harm to the judge.
I mean, I think it's not so much the words that he used, it was the actions also, with the harassing phone calls and things of that nature that helped him build that case, Tim.
I don't know what he was charged with. I didn't pay attention to the trial. I did not review the evidence. I don't have an opinion.
Well, then would you say
because if you're
defamation
saying,
laws are illegal
hold
then?
on, from being an ex-criminal, I could tell you now, if you're sitting there saying you got hopes, wishes, and dreams of something like that, but then you're making threatening, menacing phone calls and shit, that's where you played into their hands.
All right, let Glenn finish. Let Glenn finish.
Then we should not have defamation laws then. You should not be able to sue somebody for defamation if they have free speech then, right?
I kind of agree with that, yeah.
Because if they have the right, if their speech is protected.
Well, let Denizen qualify what he's saying. No,
because any limitations on freedom of speech don't mean there's no freedom of speech whatsoever.
Okay.
I'm saying that if you have the right to say whatever you want to say, it's free speech, then I should not be able to sue you for defamation if your speech is slandering me, right?
I'm just going to repeat myself. Having any limitations on free speech whatsoever doesn't mean that you don't have any free speech whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're not free to speak.
No.
So again, like what I said.
It just doesn't mean that you're not free to do every other kind of speech except where the limitations are.
Well, if you look at the way it's written up, though, you're free to speak. It's just you're limited on certain things that you can say when you speak.
That's why I came up here, because free doesn't mean ability. And you keep using it like ability, and that's because you live in America where freedom's a bumper sticker and doesn't mean anything anymore. You're not able to speak. Anybody said you're able to speak everywhere. You're able to speak in North Korea. Do you have freedom of speech in North Korea?
That being able and being free to do something.
North Korea.
Hold on. If I'm running a restaurant, right, and you're the dishwasher, I might give you the freedom to have a free lunch, but shit, that if you go and take the lunch, you can be reprimanded for it. It's the same thing with speech.
That's why freedom is not ability.
Speak and give your ideals and thoughts, but you better be limited on that, because what you cross up with that, now you're following legal ramifications.
That's the antithesis of freedom.
It always shocks me how people on these panels like to revel in the nuance. What I'm trying to understand is,
because nuance is life.
Give me an example where a limitation of free speech is acceptable.
I can't say the N word, but Exile can.
Give me an example.
I'm an absolutist. I don't believe in any limitations, including the ones that I think are that I wouldn't fight against. Like, for example, the Supreme Court's eminent and insightful. I wouldn't protest against that. I don't care. And defamation, I wouldn't protest against that either. I don't care.
So then you're picking.
Yes, no, man. I don't think I would have a problem with you saying the word.
You don't listen. You just want to argue with me. You're not listening. You just want to argue with me. I just got done saying that I'm an absolutist. I would have no limitations on speech. That includes defamation. That includes incitement. Do I think our incitement and defamation are acceptable in a society? To those limits on that speech are a problem where I'm going to start burning down federal buildings or protesting in the street? No. And some limitations on speech don't mean some limitations on all speech. I still have the freedom to say anything else I want to say. And again, freedom is not ability, and it's not the First Amendment. For example, if I send something on Twitter and my boss reads it and he fires me, that's not freedom of speech. That's a society that clearly has very little regard for speech.
Well, I mean...
Well, see, now you're in the argument of... Hold on. Now you're in the argument of public and private sector, too, though.
Yeah, because you can say what you want to say, but that doesn't mean that your employer has to...
Angry Snowman, do me a favor and read the definition of free speech again, please, sir. Maybe they'll get it this time.
All the idea of free speech is a fundamental democratic principle that supports the freedom of an individual or community to articulate their opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction.
Thank you.
But isn't that from the government, though, right?
No,
that's what I said.
No, it doesn't.
Why do they have to throw that in there? Why? It confuses me.
No. Legal sanction doesn't mean the government. It just literally means retaliation from anyone, censorship from anyone, or legal sanction from anyone. That literally that ties in the whole. What was that? What's it called? When slander crap. You know,
like slander and defamation.
Yeah, you know that's free from legal sanction from someone saying something and you being able to sue them.
So that's why I said so then defamation laws should be considered against free speech.
Limitation, yes, they are limitations.
Defamation laws are basically like frivolous lawsuits for people that don't like that like to call names but don't, or like to call other people names but don't like being name called back.
In practice, essentially, yeah, that's what happens.
I could agree with that.
Yes and no to an extent. I can see that. I think that if somebody is, let's say you're a business owner and somebody is slandering you, and your business now it goes down because this person is misrepresenting the truth about your company because they're a competitor. Well, that costs you your livelihood or whatever, and the
what happened to
that
just
you
have
hired.
to prove that person wrong and letting the public sort it out.
Well, because public is stupid.
And more often than not, somebody's not gonna say that because they have some other.
I would say let your actions speak for themselves, but you shouldn't be punished because someone is lying. There should be a seeking of justice for when somebody's doing something unjust.
What's unjust about saying something slanderous about somebody? I mean, seriously, we say slanderous shit about each other all the fucking time on a daily basis, and now we're just going to sit and say that it's okay to go out and throw lawsuits or punch someone in the face because they say something slanderous. Like Dennison said, that's some low IQ fucking.
Snowman. I called Snowman a racist in the past, and I didn't know the guy until I got to know the guy and find out he's not a racist.
Right.
That's funny because he called me a racist in the past, but then he got to know me and he realized I am one.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, and you're an asshole.
All right.
I don't know, man.
What's an asshole again?
YouTube has a way of bringing out the worst in
like
people.
Me.
But exactly, break it down a little.
It does, dude. I came back to some.
Sorry, I hear you, Glenn.
Rage quit.
Nice seeing you, bro.
Rage quit.
Rage quit.
Good to see you again. I came up to rap with you though, Glenn, but I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, we could wrap it up. We could chop it up.
I'm actually in a really good mood to fight, so Dennis and I are going to fight for the rest of the show.
You guys,
hell yeah.
Well, I'm one of the believers. I don't even believe rights really exist anyhow.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole idea of rights is nothing more than just an idea that has been planted into our heads. Because at any given time, all these rights that we think we have can be taken away from us.
Exactly. They're just privileges. They're privileges until they are taken away.
Tomorrow, our government could decide they want to change to a dictatorship, and we'd have no choice in it.
I mean, in some results, I think that might be better in some areas than what we have now.
Mr. Miyagi, do better. Your trolling is low level, and I'm going to time you out again.
But hey, guys, I got a jet. It's good chatting.
Yes. Mr. Miyagi.
I will see you guys around soon. Denizen,
this guy.
We should have another conversation. Let's catch up.
Take it easy, Glenn.
It's good seeing you again. Or Angry Snowman. I remember I forgot what panel we were on. We were going off on somebody though. It was really good. But it's good seeing you again. And
Grid. It was Grid when you guys were fucking with Grid for fucking. I forgot you were there for saying that fucking you shouldn't have a Second Amendment during a protest.
Exile one. I met you one time when you first started coming around.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking to Denizen.
Yep. Oh, I said that, with a guy carrying a gun and him engaging with the law enforcement, I said it's unwise, and I think that there's certain states that they do tell you not to, there's certain restrictions in certain states that about carrying concealed weapons. So I didn't.
That was my stance too.
Well, look, I will say with Glenn on that being that I'm one of those guys that have done a lot of them 2A protests and rallies. That there's just certain things that you don't do when you're out with a pistol or a weapon on you. There's a certain way you conduct yourself. and engaging with law enforcement while you're armed is not one of them.
Yeah, that just puts you in a very bad position, and the outcome's never really good.
That's the one time you don't want to use them freedom of speeches and yell and shout. You want to be calm, demeanored.
Well, I mean, I think that they fucked up. I mean, there's a lot of shit that fucked up that whole thing, right?
Yeah, both
were
sides.
wrong in many regards, and I think that the guy engaging with the officer was probably not the best choice that he could have made that day.
Well, look, you can also say, Glenn, though, but that's the first time ever in my life I've ever seen an officer shoot a person in a pile of officers.
Yeah, I thought that was even bad.
That was some really fucked up shit, and it shows that there's very limited training going on.
Well, it's
right
also
there.
Lack of I would call it military bearing, right? Composure and being able to be poised in that situation, and that would come with lack of training. Like when you have proper training, like when I was in the service and when I was in corrections, we had enough training to where when some shit went down in the prison, we weren't freaking out. We didn't use force. We applied what was necessary and to try to de-escalate the situation.
Right, but it's safe to say that you look at all these instances that are going on, and it's really fair to say that everybody screwed up on both sides.
Oh,
everybody did the wrong thing. Everybody.
Yeah,
but
pause. I'll drop everything. Hold on.
I do say it started with that cop, the way he was shoving that lady, though.
Yeah, but hold on. So
you guys are gonna make me stand here longer.
Why are we putting the same responsibility on a citizen?
I'm not.
That did not break the law as a dude who shot the not breaking the law citizen.
So I'm not putting this like an equal blanket.
No. I'm talking about Angry Snowman. He said
because it's like this 10th. If I'm going out and I'm going to get involved in some protest stuff, and I'm out there carrying my concealed weapon or whatever, and I go and I decide that I want to engage with these people, then I already know what situation I'm putting myself in, for one.
Yep.
All right.
That's what I agree with you on. I say he's responsible for his part of what he brought to that chaos.
Just like the cops are responsible for their part. There's things that everybody could have did different in this situation. Actually, the whole situation in and of itself could be applied different. Why are these people out here even obstructing people trying to do their job?
Exactly.
Obstructing what job?
Like, I mean, they have an order from the federal government to go and find the illegals or whatever, right?
Where were the illegal immigrants in that video?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just going off of
obstructing. Then you're making it up.
No, I'm not. If they are impeding, if they're causing them to slow down from doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's impeding on them. They're doing their job. If you're becoming a distraction from them, that they have to now put their attention onto you and not doing what they should be doing because you're causing an issue. You're obstructing them from doing their job.
Dennis, and let me ask you this, sir. Do you think that people already think are improperly trained and don't know what they're doing should be going out and making it harder for people that are already improperly trained to go out and do their job, so to where they mess up worse? Like, for instance, a bunch of people rolling around behind people actually trying to, give an active warrant to someone, blowing their little rape whistles all over the place and, being a nuisance and blocking the streets, or standing outside of the hotels where these people are supposed to be getting rest, making it impossible for them to sleep. That way they're going through sleep deprivation and more likely to even commit a mistake. Do you think that's really what we should be doing?
No, that's what they should be doing.
So then you're saying that they should just be making matters worse and raising the odds of there to be more.
Yeah, making it more likely for there to be an incident.
I mean, you changed the subject to something that had absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. But yes, they should impede them every step of the way.
And I would disagree.
Then they will suffer the consequences of impeding federal agents, because regardless of what people think, federal agents have a job to do, and they have been given rights to them to be able to execute that job.
What are they supposed to be doing?
They're supposed to be getting rid of illegal immigrants, sir.
I can't
Where
tell
were
you
the
what
illegal immigrants in those videos?
But what I'm saying,
I don't know. I wasn't there, sir.
I wasn't there,
Right,
but
so
I
you're
can see
making
that, like,
shit
if
up
they have
now
an
to
order.
justify
No, I'm
it
not
after the
making shit
fact.
up. All I'm going by is by the rhetoric
Stop
we're being told.
saying that there was
Even the protesters themselves say that they're protesting them getting illegal immigrants. Even they say they're protesting it.
Protesting is not impeding.
When it's causing a disturbance
from impeding.
When it's causing a disturbance and keeping them, if you're keeping an officer from doing his job because now he has to address you,
he doesn't have to address
impeding.
You're wrong. That's legally incorrect. Legally, speech and constitutionally protected activity cannot be turned into impeding or obstruction.
Protesting, you can't just protest. You have to get like permission, and you have to report it, and the city has to approve it. That's a lot of steps that gotta go there.
Need permission to protest. That's silliness.
I mean,
you're talking like a
in LA,
1940s fascist dictator right now.
I'm just telling you what I know is on the law here in LA.
That is not the law in LA. You're making shit up again.
No, I'm not.
This is my point about this argument. In order to justify Purdy's death, you got to make up a lot of shit.
I'm not making up anything. I know that if I decided to go protest somewhere in LA, if I didn't get a permit, I could get a ticket and I could make up a bunch of
illegals that didn't exist. Again, whenever I have this conversation, nobody can justify what the piggies did just on what they did. You got to make up a bunch of shit that didn't happen.
I'm not. What did I make up about anything? I didn't justify anything.
I mean, you might have heard me if you didn't start talking over me while I was explaining it. You made up a bunch of laws that don't exist. You made up some obstruction that didn't happen. You made up some illegals that weren't in the video.
Is somebody underwater?
No, it's Nicolette.
Is my mic not working good?
No, you're good. This guy. He's the illegal immigrant.
I personally think these people are going out and doing this stuff intentionally trying to get killed so they can be martyred and start whatever movement they're trying to do. That's what I think. You know what? You go out and you get yourself involved in stuff that's already at a fever pitch and at high risk, then you risk the chance of losing your life. It's that simple. I mean, come on, Dennison. You don't go out involved in this kind of stuff and think that there isn't a possibility of something to happen.
Snowman, if you
and I've even been involved in this type of stuff, and even I knew that there was a possibility I could go to jail or be killed. Come on, dude.
Respond with some rationality. Yeah, so if I break into a jail where a bunch of murderers are, and I start, making fun of them and teasing the murderers, there's a really increased likelihood they're going to murder me, isn't there? Does that not make it murder? Now is it all of a sudden is it legally justified? Is that obstruction? Am I obstructing a murderer?
Well, you can't obstruct like prisoners from anything because they're in prison.
And you can't obstruct a federal agent from beating the shit out of a lady in the street. Congratulations.
Well, he wasn't beating the shit out of a lady in the street.
Now you're making shit up. Pushing somebody and beating someone up are two different things.
Two different things.
But they did both.
Yeah, they just pushed her over and then beat him in the face.
Yeah,
but then
with a canister.
They pushed her and then he got struck.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, so which part of that is apprehending an illegal immigrant?
Right.
Hey, don't get involved in shit that don't have nothing to do with you. Mind your fucking business, man.
How does it not have anything to do with me when you're beating me in the face? Don't anybody respond.
No. Hold on. Angry Snowman. Though I do understand.
I mean, it's really that simple. If you want to mitigate the possibility of bad things happening to you, then don't go and engage in things and in activities that are going to potentially cause bad things to happen to you. It's really that simplistic.
I completely agree. So then, in a book I wrote for fun, if I had any type of authority or power, and let's say I was the BLM lady, right? Just like a friend of mine, Gary Snowflake, said before he passed away on my January 6th show, is this isn't real. Otherwise, they would be showing up at people's houses. So we can take your sentiment and say, yes, I agree 1,000%. And I will say the exact same thing when these people start showing up at these people's houses. Exact same thing. Don't put yourself in a situation where people are going to show up to your house and fuck you up. Because if you want to pull I have all the authority and power, okay, let's do it. Make me feel like I'm in danger. Make me feel like I have no way out of this, and you're just going to use your authority and power and your F-16s. All right. Let's play that game. And that's where your police and government are pushing people. You're making them feel like they're in danger.
Everybody talks tough about what they would do if the government did this, the government did that. Until the government knocks on their fucking door.
Not Peretti. He went out there and did it, and you're shaming him for it, making excuses for his murder.
No, I don't think his life should have been lost. I think it was. I don't think that was a good thing.
Excuses for his murder.
Right. So then would you guys?
I'm not making excuses for anything. It happened.
Would you you're literally blaming him for it.
I'm blaming his actions.
He's equally at fault for engaging.
1 second.
How are you going to
take which he's legally entitled to do?
Denison, how can you take a man's own accountability away from engaging?
So now you're trying to remove
on the side of the road and yell at assholes
Guys.
for being assholes and doing illegal shit, which he's legally entitled to do. He shouldn't criticize his government's actions, which he's legally entitled to do. He shouldn't help that woman up off the ground, which every right he should have done, and by every moral fiber of a man he should have done. He shouldn't have done any of the morally righteous and legally justified things that he did, because all of those things led to him getting illegally murdered by his government. Please check yourself.
So I just want to ask Snowman and Glenn, would you guys advocate for either the guy who took his gun and slinked away like a cartoon character, that guy who didn't say, hey, I have his gun, nothing like that, instead he slinked away for some strange reason, either him or the guy who on a live Preddy to get the death penalty? Pardon me?
What was that?
What you talking about? I literally don't even know what you're talking about, dude. I don't.
Okay, so before Preddy was shot, the dude with the tan jacket took his gun and ran away. You're aware of this, right?
Took whose gun and ran away?
Preddy's gun.
I never saw no cop take a gun and run away.
Oh,
I saw a cop.
Gracious.
I saw a cop take a gun and a gun.
The one when they removed it behind his back, right?
Yep. And then he ran away, crouched down, slinking like a cartoon character, and then they shot him while he was unarmed. He had already been disarmed while he was being smashed in the face by a mace canister or whatever it is.
Well,
big
you know,
canister.
the thing is it's real easy for all of us to sit here and analyze this when we can sit and pick it apart frame by frame, second by second.
So answer my question then. Instead of saying all these words, please. Instead of saying all
Dude,
these words.
People, look, I'm going to say it just like this. If I went out and did some dumb shit like that and got killed, I wouldn't be mad. Seriously.
Okay, so would you advocate
I'm the one that actively put myself in that position, so I have to take responsibility for what I did.
You're scared of the question. Okay,
what is
great.
The question?
Pause. No, guys.
What is the question? I'm trying to get the question so I can answer you.
The question is, would either one of you advocate for the death penalty for either of the two cops that were either the guy who took his gun and didn't, even try to say, hey, I have his gun, he's been disarmed, or the guy who shot him? Would you advocate for either one of those two people to get the death penalty?
So I think the death penalty requires like malicious intent, right? Like you are trying to that's a capital offense.
Don't anybody interrupt. Go ahead.
I don't necessarily think like negligence is a capital offense.
Okay.
And I don't think the death penalty will be warranted if they did charge him for something. Now,
okay, so then how come pause. How come he's dead then? How come they get the legal system? How come they get the legal system to protect them, but he's dead? Tell me why. Tell me why they get protected while he does not. You're telling me, oh, well, this isn't justified, blah, 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 blah. Was it justified for them to murder him? No, it was not. But you're going to make excuses because you love Massa. Massa's guards fucking give you the security that you need so that you're okay with them killing people on the streets. And I love you guys. I'm not trying to be
First off, I never had a chance to answer, and I'm just going to say it like this. Right. I personally don't give a fuck if a jury finds them guilty and sentences them to death. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I really don't.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, all this shit, all it is a fucking distraction. It don't affect my daily life. All it is something for people to sit and pick apart and argue about on YouTube.
Okay. So we were gonna watch him get smashed in the face, I think.
No, okay. I gotta get going real quick, but I'll say this.
You have a good day. I just want to.
Well, let me just
sorry.
I would say that, you know, just because I would say that the intent was not there to warrant a capital murder, like, you know, charge. I'm not saying that I would be opposed for them to be charged for, like, you know, manslaughter or still like a life sentence if that was the case, if that's what the findings came out with. I'm fine with that. But you asked, why did he die? Like, what justified him being shot?
Yep.
All right. That's a compound issue, right?
Nope.
It is a compound issue.
No, black and white. Watch. This guy takes his gun.
That looked
like. Watch. He reaches down in, takes the guy's gun.
Freddie is a U.S. citizen with
runs away. I don't know if they're going to show that part, but and then he slinks away. Of course, they're going to try to edit that out. He slinks away like a cartoon character, doesn't tell anybody that he has Freddie's gun, and then Buddy shoots him. And that this looks like an orchestrated murder. This was an execution. So he gets executed on the street because, Monday morning, quarterback, armchair, backseat driver, blah, 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 blah. Okay, backseat driver when these motherfuckers show up at your house, motherfucker. You people seem to think this is a game. You seem to think that I have F-16s. Okay, I fucking agree. So when the Civil War fucking comes, we can come to your fucking house first and fucking tear off your fucking fingernails and make you explain yourself. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm fucking sick of this fucking shit. I'm sick of this fucking talk. I am sick of people sucking the government
I don't think nobody wants to come over to my house.
I
got a lot of guns. Like, and I give people my address all the time if they want to come over. Like, it's not a good idea though.
You motherfuckers is so lucky I don't live in America. Because I ain't saying I'm going to fight you, but I will come and we'll have this conversation face to fucking face. And I'll do it for fucking weeks or months or years till you get it through your fucking head. That your massa is an evil piece of trash and should be hanged from the neck until dead. And until you fucking realize that they're out there protecting these fucking pedophiles with Epstein and shit, and then you're going to justify this shit too. So we're just supposed to bow down and let them eat our children.
You are conflating a lot of things. You're projecting.
Are we supposed to bow down
dude?
And what
the fuck are you up here assuming about me, motherfucker?
Reality to you.
Are we supposed to get on our fucking knees and thank them for eating our children? Yes or no?
Who are you talking about? Who's eating children? I'm not eating anybody's kids. Now, this girl that sucked my dick,
that's called gaslighting.
She ate some kids. She swallowed.
I'm sorry for you.
Just to let you know, that's gaslighting. You might not realize it in the moment, but you know exactly what he's talking about.
But one thing is that doesn't connect to the other. We were talking about Freddie, and I asked him, who is my master?
You're making excuses for ICE, murdering people in the street.
I'm not making
ICE is your massa. The federal government is your massa.
No,
you're making excuses for the national security state.
You're trying to project that onto me. That's not my master.
For the national security state murdering citizens in the middle of the fucking
at all. I did not say that anybody.
What I think is crazy is that you're more worried about fucking couple ICE agents murdering some citizens when cops are murdering citizens every fucking day, dude.
And we speak out about that too and hate them for that too.
You're barking up the wrong tree with that nonsense.
Yeah, and then when we see those 3 fat women getting into a fight with a bunch of cops over $1, we tell them they're a piece of trash and they should use tranquilizer darts on the motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm just not going to sit up here and fucking cry and complain about everything that's wrong all the time. Jesus fucking Christ.
No, you're just going to make excuses for it instead.
I'm not making excuses for it either, dude. But sitting and fucking getting pissed off and screaming and yelling and getting all emotional and upset about shit you have no control over is absolutely fucking useless.
For murder on his channel.
It does
what
nothing.
Planet are you
making
on?
Excuses.
What is
you murderous
tell me what you up here complaining about
Stop
it is actually doing about
for
it.
Fascist
What is
governments
complaining
about people?
What is complaining about it doing to fix
it? You hear anything I'm saying? Because I can't hear what you're saying.
Complaining
Whenever
about
I'm
it
talking, I can't hear you. So I don't know if you can hear me while I'm talking, but while I'm talking, I can't hear you. All I can hear is me.
All you're doing is complaining. What is that going? How's that going to fix it?
Then why are you here making excuses for government killing people? You literally blamed the murder
making
victim.
Excuses for it, dude.
You literally blamed the murder victim.
No, I said everybody's at fault, dude.
Now you're gaslighting. Stop gaslighting.
Let me ask you a question.
Saying that everybody has their own personal responsibility in the situation is gaslighting. Now that's fucking dude.
Can I ask a question? Let me just ask you one question. If you didn't like take out the trash, and then the trash company comes and takes the trash out, and you didn't get your trash out there, whose fault is that? Is it yours or the trash man's?
Did the trash man shoot me in the head?
That has nothing to do with it. Just stick to the analogy or the hypothetical.
I don't care.
I'll do it.
Whatever the answer you want, that's the answer.
Let me do it. You get volatile.
So, hey, real quick before you guys do, it's been fun.
This is why people yell at you.
Hold on. It's been fun, gentlemen. I gotta get off here because me and the kids are gonna go outside and do some stuff.
Good, brother.
It's been fun.
I'm not mad at you guys. I'm mad at
you. No, nothing personal towards anybody. Don't take any offense to anything I said. All right. It's all still love, but deuces.
Take it easy.
All right, so I'm responsible for not putting my garbage out. Go ahead.
Okay, so you have responsibility for your actions or lack thereof, correct?
Yep. Okay.
Cool. So in this situation, he has responsibility for his actions or lack thereof.
Yep.
Now, does that mean that it justifies or warrants death? No. But I'm saying that he has responsibility that he has to be accountable for. He put himself in a situation. Now he shouldn't have faced that death, but
what should he be accountable for, Glenn?
Well, technically he would have been obstructing justice.
Where was the obstruction of justice?
Well, it would be considered it would be assault on a federal officer because he actually touched the officer.
Merely making incidental contact with an officer is not assault. You want to try again?
Yes, it is. Actually, it's 18 USC 111. That's what it would be.
Incidental contact is not anywhere in that statute you just mentioned.
It says right here, federal law makes it a crime to willfully assault or resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, or interfere with any person designated in 111, including federal officers.
I'm sorry, you don't understand the law, buddy.
Calm down.
Used in
incidental. Do you know the difference between?
One second.
I'm just reading.
The person who can't stop when I say willfully and then engage the conversation is the person who's not calm.
But you're not letting me talk. You're trying to talk over me. So I let you talk.
Yes, to stop you from keep going because you should have stopped at willfully.
You're trying to resist my freedom of speech.
Do you know what I'm saying right now? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Exercise my freedom of speech.
I can't hear you right now, Glenn. Can you hear me?
Dennison, I was engaging with Glenn so that this didn't happen, right? Because Glenn.
No, this is what needs to happen. He needs to stop at willfully.
Okay, but
why?
So,
why do you get
because it wasn't willfully? Do you know the difference between willfully and incidental?
Pause.
Why do you get to impede on my freedom of speech?
Yeah,
that's so wrong. I thought you're absolutist.
I want Glenn to explain something to me. So watch this, right? See this? Where right there was he executing a lawful duty right there when he pushed that lady down? Tell me, is this an execution of a lawful duty? She's on the side of the street. She's no threat to anybody. He is attacking her right now, right? So what lawful duty is this ICE agent or border service, whatever he is, executing right now?
I can't say that he's executing a lawful duty. I can't say that.
Right. So
here's the reason why. One, I do not know what the rules of engagement that they were operating under.
Irrelevant.
I don't know what they were. I don't have the rules of engagement in
rules
front
of
of me.
Rules of engagement don't trump the law.
Right. So all that stuff is the outro of my show. When they come pounding on your door in the dead of night, wrote you down, name down on a piece of paper, says you have coronavirus or whatever they wrote down your name on a piece of paper for. There ain't going to be nobody to call because business hours 8:30, 4:30. You can go fuck yourself because the law doesn't matter, right?
I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm saying that's wrong. I'm saying I don't know what the rules of engagement were.
Right now, he's breaking the law. So Preddy is now trying to stop him from further assaulting this lady, and then you're calling that when he's
not even trying to stop him, though. He's just there.
Now, when he gets himself involved in something whether it's
And
you think it's morally justified
in
or
that
it's
guy
right
committing
or
a
it's
crime,
wrong.
in him committing a crime,
two crimes don't make a right, right?
He's trying to
It's
prevent
not a
the
crime to stop somebody from committing a crime.
Right. If it's a cop or not.
And again,
it's not willful impediment of an official duty.
It was used to push. He has the right to push back protesters. It's what it says here. So the officer could be.
No, you don't have a right to push
it
protesters.
It just says right here. It's used in many protest-related cases against demonstrators who shove or get physically pushed by confronting officers.
So you got to
go.
When
you physically push someone for talking, that's illegal.
I understand that you have to go, and I really do appreciate all the time that you spent here. But all I'm trying to explain to you is this, Glenn. With the way that you're presenting this, you are justifying.
I'm not justifying anything.
No, hold on. You're justifying a revolution, right? You're justifying mass citizen violence against government institutions and agents because they know. No. I'm telling you how we see it as people, right? As regular people out here just trying to survive.
I can't control how you perceive things.
Oh, right? Sure can. You sure. No, you actually can. No, you actually can because
I can't.
Yes, you can. You can by not making it seem like we are in danger. Right?
No, I cannot make you feel a certain way at all. Your feelings, how you perceive things, that's you.
Nope.
Yes, I can. There's nothing I could do to ever make somebody feel secure or safe. That's a feeling. Oh that's a feeling. That's an individual thing.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
No, I disagree.
It's almost like you can't make somebody love you, right? Or feel love because they have to feel it. That's their responsibility.
Correct.
It's almost like saying, oh, you have to be my peace. You cannot be somebody's peace.
But you can make somebody hate you, can't you?
No, you can't make somebody hate you. You
sure can
whether
by
or not
your actions, just like we discussed earlier about disrespect.
I get to choose whether or not I want to.
This is why stoicism is retarded, by the way.
Like I get to choose whether or not I'm going to let this thing piss me off or hold offense towards it. I get to choose that, not them.
Yeah, that's so nothing Peretti did or that woman did made that officer break the law and then murder him. So they have zero responsibility for his action and his feelings.
And also, one last thing. Tell me, anywhere here, if these people are breaking the law, where were they trying to arrest them? Watch. This is less than 20 seconds. Where's the arrest happening?
So right when they're trying to get his limbs and his arms,
by smashing him in the face.
No, that would be resisting arrest if you can't get him behind his back.
Oh, so they're smashing him in the face with the canister that they emptied in his face, and they're continuously 8 to 10 times smashing him in the face with that. He's not supposed to reach forward to protect his face, right?
All, I'm not saying
the human instinct to protect your face. The human instinct to protect your face. You don't do that. Because Massa said put your hands behind your back, right? So you're going to override your own instincts to protect your face.
You're not acting good faith.
And put your hands behind your back.
Bro, you can't listen to a single fucking thing either one of us says.
Denizen, you
have
to understand, Denizen, that people like Glenn are indoctrinated.
No, I'm not indoctrinated.
He's indoctrinated to hate Peretti and people like him.
I don't hate anybody.
It's so
I don't
fucking blinding.
Or anybody.
He's justifying
murder. You're projecting.
No, bro.
No. Yes, you are.
No, because I don't want anybody getting murdered.
Right. I have not said any of these things that you're saying how I feel. And I have never said anything that I feel.
Bro, you're justifying a murder.
I'm not justifying anything.
And you won't let anybody else talk.
I don't even get to finish my sentence because you talk over me.
Give Glenn a minute. Get 60 seconds.
But then he just filibusters because he's the only one who's allowed to talk. He won't let me say 2 words.
What are you talking about? You're the one that's
only allowed to talk. He wouldn't let you say a half a sentence. Go ahead. You're muted. Can you
do I get to talk now?
Yeah. I think that's the point of this. You got the stage. You got the floor.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Yes, he's talking.
So,
you got your
I
problem.
apologize then if it was his iPhone the whole time.
I think it was. It was. I think it was Denizen. It's been real bad for him this whole time.
That is fucking hilarious. My bad, Glenn.
The whole 5 or 6 hours.
Every single time I said a word, you started railroading.
He can't hear you. Yeah, Denizen's saying that he's talking and you can't hear him, and he thought you were talking over him, but you actually can't hear him. Yeah, that's what was going on, Glenn.
My bad, buddy. I take it back.
Yeah. No, he's dropped out and came back about 40 times during this since he's been here. Yeah, but
speaking of taking the trash out, I have to do that real quick. I'll be back.
All right. Yeah.
I can't hear you guys.
He's dropped out and came back.
Can't hear any of us. Yeah. I appreciate Glenn. Denizen will be back. And hey, Exiled, how's it going, buddy? Thought you were leaving. Did you fall asleep?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Good. Denizen will be back in a minute.
So can I get to
give Denizen a minute? Give Denizen a minute. I think somebody's burping now. I think it's you actually, but I can fix that.
Burping? I'm not burping.
I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Just turn echo cancellation off. No, on mute for a second.
Burp.
Off.
Burp.
Back on. Fixed. Good to go. So all I'm saying, Glenn, and I think that's where Denizen is as well. He thought you were talking over him, so he was getting infuriated, but you couldn't hear him. So it's just a mistake. I think they're doing it to us on purpose. Just with the way that you and Snowman are presenting the situation is as if Preddy had no right to try to stop that person from assaulting that lady, right? That's how it sounds.
Oh, I'm not saying that he doesn't have a right.
Okay.
I didn't say that. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a right to, invoke himself into something.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that he doesn't have the right to avoid a consequence. Every action has a consequence.
Yep. And the
some are good, some are bad.
And the consequence of people justifying this type of thing is an armed, violent revolution. You understand that, correct?
I could see how people come to that conclusion, but I would also say that that's also, you could say that that's also a view that's already a predetermined view that maybe that's what you want anyways.
Wrong.
Right?
I want these
I could
people
say I could look at it from a more of a nuance and not being like emotionally attached to any of it.
Nope.
And I could say that the police were wrong, the ICE agents were wrong in many regards, and so were the Preddy. He was wrong too.
Okay.
Like they both could have done things to mitigated that outcome not happening.
Let's say that is the case. One guy's dead, the other guys aren't.
Should the other guys die too? I mean, like, would that be better?
Yes.
Because I don't think losing one life is already bad. But losing more life before that, it doesn't bring back that life that is lost.
No, but it puts the fear of God into anybody else to ever do any such thing again.
What about the fear of God into the person that? What about the other party? You only want to put the fear of God in one group, but not the other group.
So I think they did that by killing them.
When you said in this hypothetical, when you said you would disagree for the sake of argument that both parties are wrong, right? So that means if both parties are wrong,
I want to respond to that.
Now he said for the sake of argument, right? He was just agreeing with it. Then they should be held accountable to the wrong that they're responsible for. Nothing less or nothing more, right? Now I would say that the majority of the responsibility should rest on the ICE agents, absolutely. But Preddy is also wrong too, and he could have done things differently that could have helped avoid that outcome from happening. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, you're making my point because you want there to be a fear of God for somebody to protest.
No, I don't. I'm just being like objective and saying, hey, if you do this thing and this could lead to this bad outcome, you have to be accountable for you choosing to do these things that put you in that position to begin with.
If you protest, you should have the fear of God.
It's not the protest. It's not protesting. It would be okay, hey, I have a firearm on me right now. Maybe I should not like get involved with this police or the police and be combative with them because they're already hyped up, right?
Right.
And
So you
they
can't yell at a police officer or record a police officer while you're armed.
you can't confirm whether or not that they're going to be poised and have a level head and not overreact, right?
Right.
So why
And you're
would you put
advocating for
yourself?
that.
Hold on. Why would you put yourself in that position to where that your life could be at lost?
Because you have every right to, and it's the right
Sure,
thing to do.
you have the right to, but then you also then have the right to die then by meeting it that way, right? Like it's you don't get to avoid
But you
the
don't unless
potential
cops
risk.
are allowed to murder people for protesting and carrying.
No, I'm not saying that they're allowed to murder people for protesting and carrying.
Yes, you are.
No, I did not.
You're
Never
saying
did
they
I say
shouldn't be
that.
punished.
I'm saying that he has responsibility for his role in how things
What was
happen.
his role?
By him interjecting, he already knows that the police or the ICE agents are going crazy because they're
Don't tell
already
me
done
about
with
what
the
he
lot.
knows. Tell me what
Well,
he
he already
did that
knows.
is his
He was there.
responsibility.
He was already there.
Don't tell me what he knows. Just tell me what
Why?
he did that's his responsibility.
One, carrying a gun to a protest and engaging
Perfectly legal. There should not be a death
it's not
penalty for that.
illegal. I'm not saying it's illegal. It's not wise.
So it's
Okay?
not wise to do the thing that you're constitutionally protected to do.
Sometimes it's not wise.
So I should have to be unarmed because ICE can't
No.
follow the law and control itself.
No, it's not about you're not getting it. It's that you
No.
look
I think
like
I'm
a
getting
threat.
it just fine.
No, you're not. Because if you're saying that, oh yeah, it's wise to carry a gun and be combative with law enforcement.
Glenn, stop for a second. Stop.
How's that wise?
Stop for a second. Do you know why it's not wise, Glenn? I agree with you. It's not wise. It's dumb.
Because you cannot control
Glenn,
whether or
stop
not
for
how
a
they're
second.
gonna
Glenn,
perceive
please.
it.
Glenn,
You just
stop,
asked me
please.
a question. I was just answering.
No, I
it.
didn't. I didn't. I'm talking, okay? Stop. Stop. Just stop for a while. Listen. It is extremely stupid for him to have showed up armed. It was dumb as a box of rocks for him to record those police in their face and to yell at them and to call them names. It was life-threateningly retarded. Do you know why? Because we live in a police state where ICE agents are murderers and they're held unaccountable. And you're blaming the victim and trying to justify the murder. You're part
I'm not doing any of that.
the
You need to stop
problem.
putting words in my mouth. I didn't say any of those things.
You've been saying it all day.
I have not. I said that he's accountable for his actions.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Whether you say they're justified or not,
He didn't
that's
do anything
irrelevant.
wrong. Tell me what he did wrong.
I didn't say that they were wrong. I just said he's still accountable for his
What does it have to
actions.
do with this situation?
He put himself in the situation.
What? So what? He put himself in the situation. Why did that lead to murder?
It shouldn't have had to.
It shouldn't have. So what does that have to do with it?
But if you do an action that puts yourself in a place that you could get yourself into that position, that's your choice. You put yourself in that position.
What could have happened to him? What choice did he make that led to murder?
By engaging with the law enforcement.
So engaging with law enforcement means a death sentence.
No, it doesn't, but resisting
So then
arrest.
how could he possibly have done that?
Because he put himself in the position.
Pause. I want you to look at
position?
this. I want you to look at him resisting arrest while being smashed in the face by a canister. Watch. 1, 2, 3. At least 3. I think there's way more than that. This is just a bad vantage point. So while he's getting smashed in the face by that canister, that's when he's resisting arrest?
Do you know what the definition of resisting arrest is?
That you didn't let him come in your mouth when he told you to suck him off with your gun to your head, and you said, I don't want you to come in my mouth, and he said, no, you have to or else I shoot you, and then Glenn Lawrence comes on my panel and says you should have let him come in your mouth?
No, now you're being a smart ass.
No, that's resisting. You did just like the lady on the side of the road for 11 minutes where two dudes,
so if you're not
two
getting
cops fingered her.
Answer the question like honestly, then that's fine.
So what was the question?
We can't engage
I'll
in
be
what
reasonable.
resisting arrest is then, because we have to have an understanding of what resisting arrest is.
It's someone who forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, or abuses, or intimidates a law enforcement official.
Not putting your hands in front of your face while you're being smashed in the face by a canister.
Well, let's make it clear that
Hold on, Lippy.
Well, let's make it clear that we understand the authority of ICE is they do not have the authority to arrest American civilians. They specifically have authority to arrest illegal immigrants upon a warrant. No other authority do they have.
All federal agents can detain you. Yes, they can.
They can detain. They can detain, yes. But that is not
detaining. Where was that a detainment?
Exactly. That is not.
Detainment is being put in custody.
No, that is assault.
No, it's not.
What you just saw there was assault.
It was.
Well, yes, they were assaulting him because he was resisting.
No, they didn't give him any warning. Just because they have to give him notice that he is being detained, just like anybody else. They gave no notice of him being detained. They just assaulted.
They never even tried.
Real. Yeah, let's get real.
I've been trying to
find
this.
They're giving him commands and they're saying, put your hands behind your back, and you're not putting your hands behind your back and you're fighting it.
They didn't do that. They pushed him. They started pushing him and immediately.
You don't know what they're saying because we don't have the audio.
I don't give a fuck what they said.
We do have
then how do you know that they're not giving him commands?
I don't give a fuck. They're Nazis. Watch this.
So now you don't give a fuck if they were giving him commands or not.
Then how are you sitting there saying that they gave him commands? If you don't know, then how are you sitting there saying they gave him commands?
Commands don't make it legal either. Sorry.
If your officer is giving you commands and you are resisting those commands, that would be resisting arrest.
That's not true.
They can give unlawful commands, and that would be the situation.
How do you know that they're unlawful?
Because they had no reason to arrest him for a constitutionally protected activity.
Right.
They have a right to detain you, and they don't have to give you a reason to detain you.
They have to have a reason. They have to have a reason. Come on,
yeah, they can say that. They can say that he is being hostile. There's a bunch of protesters here, and right there, that would be a reason.
Hostile.
Yeah,
that's based off of their perception.
I just didn't see the hostility when he put his hand in front of the cops, so he didn't continue to assault the lady. But now we're going to watch about their warrants. Check this.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here today and answering our questions. I don't want to talk about new laws. I want to talk about a very old one, the Constitution of the United States, specifically the Fourth Amendment. This picture is of ICE agents forcing their way into the Minneapolis home.
You people are advocating for a lawless militia running through the streets, killing people. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not advocating for that. Stop putting words in my mouth.
You are.
Every time you make an excuse,
words don't matter.
Every time
I didn't. No, don't say what I'm advocating.
When you say they're resisting,
I'm advocating for something.
When you say
reality.
When you say that they're resisting, that is advocating for the murder of Preddy.
No, I'm not. That's not it. That's a very horrible misrepresentation. And
he's not resisting anywhere in any of the videos. You're making it up and pulling it out of your ass.
If
resisting is a horrible representation because again, you have to have a reason to resist. What was their reason to detain?
They are engaging with the protesting group, and this person is being combative.
And they are specifically not allowed to do so. They are specifically not allowed to do so.
Pause. I like to go to step by step. Glenn is putting your hand in front of an ICE agent while he's assaulting a citizen, resisting.
No, that would be like impeding or interfering with.
Was he
engaging in like their lawful?
Operation.
Was it
calling it lawful? And he's not. He was involved in an illegal act.
You said you couldn't tell me that him pushing her onto the snow was part of their lawful duties. That's what you said.
Of course, it's not. It's not listed or enumerated anywhere in their lawful duties.
When I'm saying that lawful duties would be like they're on the clock, they're at work, and they're supposed to be doing something, whether it's crowd control. I don't know what
everything they do while they're on the clock is legal.
Yes. No, that's not what I'm saying. Why are you misrepresenting the things that I'm saying?
That's what it sounds like.
Every single time I say something and then you misrepresent it and you don't just take it for what I say.
It's because of the dumb reasons that are coming out of your face.
No, it's not a dumb reason. It's not a dumb reason.
Listen,
what's the point of having any laws then? Because if you guys want to be arbiters of like, okay, we don't like this, so this is now bad. What's the whole point of laws?
What is lawful has nothing to do with what time it is or whether you clocked in or not. You're talking shit.
What is lawful is if you are if you're an agent and you are there working and you're there on
Before we watch the video, do me a favor, please.
Pause. I just want to know. So, as far as some of us are concerned, the Preddy thing was a murder. Some people say it wasn't. So, I just wonder, with this, do you also think that the Fourth Amendment does not apply? Watch.
Banging down the door, detaining Mr. Gibson in front of his wife, Tiana, and their 10-year-old daughter and niece who happened to be there at the time. I don't know whether you're familiar with what happened here. It's one of many, many, many similar incidents that have happened all around the country. And it was done pursuant to what is called an administrative warrant. I'm going to hold up a copy of that warrant, signed by an SDDO, who is, I believe, a member of the ICE workforce, another agent, a supervisory detention and deportation officer, not a judge, correct?
Bingo.
Correct, Senator. So, in effect, this is not a warrant, it's a permission slip. It's a green light from another ICE agent to go bash down a door, smash into a home, detain and arrest someone without a judge finding probable cause and without any sort of objective, independent finding. Is that correct?
No, sir. So the I-205 is the arrest warrant, but the I-205 is based on an executable final order issued by an immigration judge from
and that order is from an immigration judge who is part of the executive branch, not an independent judge. But the warrant issued is simply a permission slip. Now, let's be very clear. You were a local police officer.
Yes, sir.
To bang down a door, barge into someone's home, if you're the FBI or a local police officer, you need a judicial warrant from a judicial officer. A
judicial,
is
not administrative.
Find or not probable cause, which has a specific meaning under the law. These ICE agents are banging down doors, doing the same thing without that kind of judicial warrant. What is so different about ICE that it regards itself as an exception to the Fourth Amendment? And the requirement for a judicial warrant is a Fourth Amendment requirement.
We don't, Senator. There is case law, U.S. versus Lucas, 2007, which is out of the 8th District of Minnesota, which authorizes the entry of a home to catch a fugitive based on an administrative warrant.
I beg your pardon, sir. It does not abrogate the Fourth Amendment. It does not say that ICE agents or CBP agents can simply bash down doors and barge into people's homes, terrorize their children, detain and arrest people without a judicial warrant. And there is nothing different about what ICE does as compared to the FBI or local police that would justify it. The policy that they're acting under, in fact, is the result of a memo that you issued in May. You're familiar with it.
Yes, sir.
Has your signature.
Yes, sir.
Which says, in effect, they don't need judicial warrants. They can act on the basis of the 205 warrant that you just described, which is administrative. It's not judicial.
Let's talk more about
Why did you keep this memo secret?
I didn't keep that memo secret, sir. It was blasted out.
We learned about it when 2 whistleblowers came to us and said that you were using it as a basis for the policy. It was never announced publicly. It was never released to the press or the American people. Why did you keep it secret?
Sir, I didn't keep it secret. If sending an email to a workforce of 30,000 people is keeping something secret, it's a bad secret.
It never reached those people.
Yes, sir, it did.
Well,
the email did, sir. Yes, sir. I can work with your community to get that.
Let me move to another topic. You stated on Tuesday, quote, no U.S. citizen is subject to immigration enforcement, and that doesn't happen. If a U.S. citizen is detained in the course of the immigration investigation, they are quickly released. I asked
or murdered.
That a report that we did, the ranking member staff did, entitled Unchecked Authority. It documents 22 U.S. citizens being detained and assaulted by immigration agents, as well as written statements from 8 U.S. citizens who have been detained, shot at, and nearly killed by ICE agents who came to speak.
Without objection.
Thank you. So let's take George Reitz, for example. He's an Army veteran, a father from California, trying to go to work. He said he was tear gassed and held for 3 days without charges. Is he lying?
Sir, ICE wasn't involved in that arrest, sir.
Were you mistaken when you said that no U.S. citizen is subject to immigration enforcement?
No, sir.
Well, who's lying, you or him?
Sir, I'm speaking for the men and women of ICE in my operation. I didn't arrest that individual, sir.
But the facts contradict what you said. Will you admit that you don't know, for example, about Alaya Rahman, a disabled woman from Minneapolis? She came to this hearing. She testified before our Spotlight forum, violently dragged from her car, detained without medical attention until she passed out. Is she lying, or are you lying?
No, sir, she's not lying.
Well, then you were mistaken when you said no U.S. citizen has been detained.
No, sir. I said no U.S. citizens subject to immigration law and deportation or removal. ICE does
Well, that's a
detain.
circular argument. She wasn't subject to immigration law because she's a U.S. citizen, but she was detained. And that contradicts directly, as does your statement applied to Miramar Martinez, who was almost killed, shot 7 times by CPP agents. It is true of Diana Figueroa, who told us she was violently dragged from her car after dropping her son at school, thrown into a van, also detained. Is she lying?
No, sir. But, sir, you know, I've worked personally with you on many cases when you come to me on constituents, especially in Connecticut when I was a field office director in New England. You know that I am transparent and we do not lie. So to say that we're lying is
I asked you first whether you were mistaken when you said that no U.S. citizen, I'm quoting, is subject to immigration enforcement.
Correct, sir.
Enforcement.
Enforcement is an arrest, removal.
I would call that misconduct enforcement by your agents. I'm out of time. Thank you.
Let's go out there. I have 2 quick questions. One of the things that came up earlier was this idea that there used to be an instantaneous portal between, I guess, ICE and the prisons where you were arresting. That initially you were just getting this information seamlessly, very quickly, not manually. It was an automatic portal, but that was stopped under Mayorkas. Mr. Lyons, is that true? Or
yes, sir. It's true.
Have y'all tried to restart it?
We have restarted it with multiple agencies, sir. And sir,
go ahead.
Just for the record, sir, I'll say again to the Commissioner for the Department of Corrections, we do have a great relationship with them. We do take individuals from them. You know, there was a report released where we didn't take action on, I think he said 100, I think the number a little bit more. But the fact that ICE didn't take action on a foreign-born citizen means the fact that they're not removable. There are many people in custody that have a green card, lawful resident, visa. So to say that was disingenuous.
Yeah. The other question I have is that, you know, we finally had the Attorney General say, oh, of course, if it's a final order, who's making a distinction? I think it's not an unreasonable distinction. There's
And a new group is trying to be there to help them with transportation, home, and some phones to contact family. Maury Glover joining us now from the newsroom with a look at what they're seeing. Maury?
Well, Haven Watch was started a couple of weeks ago by a Minnesota mom who took her 2 sons to bring supplies to demonstrators outside the Whipple Federal Building. They noticed ICE detainees being released without their phones or rides home. So an idea was born.
We're not seeing pepper spray. We're not seeing tear gas. We're not seeing that things mostly anymore, which is nice.
Every day, demonstrators gather outside the Whipple Federal Building to protest ICE's presence in Minnesota. But in the middle of the crowd, there are people wearing orange vests, hoping to provide a haven for recent detainees.
So many of us were sitting at home, doom scrolling, watching it on the news, wanting to make a difference. And this was a way to do that.
Sarah Haraldson is part of Haven Watch, a group of volunteers who keep an eye out for people released from the ICE detention center, often without their phones or winter coats. The volunteers offer them burner phones, a place to warm up, and even rides home, as well as anything else they may need to get back on their feet.
Most people are upset, no matter how long they were in there and why they were taken in. I have had more grown men crying in my car in the last week than anyone should see.
Haven Watch is also collecting donations to help recent detainees with...
And don't forget, these are legal citizens.
Everything from food and car seats to rental assistance. And for Haraldson, the group's mission hits close to home.
I have a 20-year-old son that we adopted from Ethiopia as a baby, and he is a naturalized citizen. And it scares me every day when he is out that they could pick him up and put him in that building based on the color of his skin and nothing else.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't let him leave.
You need to comply. You need to let him ejaculate in your mouth or you deserve to get shot. That's it. That's the end of the discussion. Comply now, complain later. It doesn't matter if they're breaking the law. The same as that lady on the side of the road for 11 minutes while 2 police officers stuck their fingers in her vagina to find 0.25 grams of marijuana that was never submitted as evidence because it never existed. You are not allowed to resist that. You are not allowed to resist them putting their fingers inside your vagina. You're not allowed to resist anything. You must do everything they say. If you do not, they're allowed to unalive you. That is the rule. I just want everybody to be aware of that every time you justify the ICE agents doing this stuff, you are justifying no limit to the amount of depravity that these people are allowed to do. And you're telling them to fight it in court. That's what you're asking. You're saying, do what you're told, no matter what it is, and fight it in court. That's what you're being. That's what I'm hearing.
Unless you're dead.
All the chaos and confusion caused by Operation Metro Surge can seem overwhelming. If everyone does just a little bit, they can make a big difference.
We want people to know as they come out of that building that we love them, and they are our friends, they are our neighbors, they are our family, and people love them and want to support them.
Now, Haraldson says Haven Watch, which was originally called Safe Havens, needs more volunteer drivers. If you'd like to help, we'll add a link to our story. In the newsroom, Maury Glover, Fox 9.
All right, thanks, Maury.
Yeah, so to address chat.
Equal right?
To address chat. No, Glenn is not any of those things. He's explaining to us the way things are, not the way they should be.
I want to clear up something because I feel like I know Glenn. He's not stupid. He's not sick. This is the brainwashing of like being told that it's you versus half the population and it's you versus the illegals. So all of this like anger and hatred is misdirected, and this is where ICE gets the justification. It's a big, huge psyop that has us all at each other's throats, picking sides and making justifications. And Glenn is actually a smart and peaceful person. I mean, at least he tries to be peaceful and advocate for peace, usually, in my experience. It's someone from my audience wants me to ask Glenn, though, does might make right?
Higher standard. Glenn may have dropped.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was on the call. What was the question for me?
Does might make right?
No. What is right makes right. Just because you have the power to do something and impose your will onto someone else doesn't necessarily make you right. It just makes you the one that has more power, right?
Okay. So let's go with what the video we just watched. Do you believe that that those warrants, that's one ICE and a ICE judge, which is not a judicial judge, issuing these warrants to enter people's property?
That wasn't even an ICE judge.
Well, that's what the guy said, that it's an ICE judge.
No, the judge that's involved in this process at all is an immigration judge, and the immigration judge isn't issuing the arrest warrant. The immigration judge determines the person is not here legally. Then your boss, when you're a federal agent, your supervisor, who's not any kind of judge at all, signs the warrant. The warrant in quotation marks. So it's basically like my lieutenant. If I'm a cop, my lieutenant gives me the right to do what he wants me to do.
Yep. So I'm just asking, Glenn, do you believe that those warrants are legitimate?
So I looked that up. I understand that the ones that were in question were not they were not signed by a federal judge. So those would not be legal or authorized warrants, right? So that would be wrong. That would be a crime. That would be something that.
But they're doing it. So it's a criminal organization, right?
No, that doesn't make it a criminal organization. That just means somebody's operating outside of the law. It's like saying if one people are doing bad things, that means the whole thing is bad. That's not true. That's making the whole thing a monolith, and I think you know better than that.
No, because Antifa was deemed a T-word organization automatically. So if they are,
what was deemed a what organization?
I think I lost you. Test.
Hello.
Test. Yeah, sorry, I lost it. I said so. If Antifa was deemed a T-word organization, then ICE is as well.
They would have to meet the same standards and that constitute.
And who gets to decide that? The same people that are doing it?
No, the lawmakers.
Okay, but the lawmakers said that you can't.
The lawmakers
do
are not the
anything
same
about
people that are doing ICE. The lawmakers are not ICE.
The lawmakers state, and I can show you the video, but it's 40-something minutes, so it's too long. But they explain Bivens or whatever the hell that is, and all the different Supreme Court cases, all the precedent. It says ICE is 100% immune. You can't even file a Section 1983 under Bivens or whatever it is. So I want to understand how they're not a criminal organization when they're immune from the law.
Well, one, they're not immune from the law. That's not right.
Are.
No, they're not. That's
100%.
That's not true. I'm reading it right now, 10th man. I'm literally reading it. It says right here that a federal agent can use reasonable force in the course of a lawful enforcement action. However, an unjustified physical shove of a peaceful observer or a bystander could be considered excessive force or unlawful conduct and can be prosecuted. So no, they're not immune.
Can be
That's for a
prosecuted.
federal agent?
Yes, that's what I just read.
Yeah, they can be prosecuted. They can be
prosecuted if somebody.
So listen.
If they get charges brought up on them, they can be prosecuted.
Yes, if they get charges. Can a citizen press charges against a federal officer?
Yeah, you can make a complaint.
No.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
You can make a complaint to the state police or the local authorities, and the local authorities will then move it up to chain of command.
Have no jurisdiction whatsoever.
Yes, they do.
They don't. It's federal. The only recourse a citizen has against a federal officer is through a Bivens Act, and it's been made moot and worthless. The Supreme Court has challenged the Congress to pass federal laws protecting your civil rights because Bivens is so useless.
I'm trying to read. I'm trying to look up Bivens right now.
I'm going to show it to you right now.
Them, being able to do something or them being wrong.
By now, we've all seen video clips showing the Alex Pretty incident from multiple angles.
1 second.
They are willing to throw out your rights, whether they're Second Amendment rights, First Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights, at a moment's hesitation if they think it stands between them being able to do something or them being wrong.
By now, we've all seen video clips showing the Alex Pretty incident from multiple angles, and we've also seen clips showing federal officials just clamoring to convince the public that what they've seen was completely justified, even prior to any actual investigation occurring. We see both sides pushing politics and sowing division rather than looking objectively at the facts to figure out what happened and then fairly applying the law. So I'll walk you through what we actually know happened based on the currently available video footage, and then let one of the best civil rights lawyers in the country, Patrick Giacomo with the Institute for Justice, who is literally at the forefront of the efforts at holding federal officials accountable for civil rights violations, cut through all the BS, all the propaganda, and give you actual information that you need to know right now. And there's a lot of it that you are not hearing anywhere else.
People are watching the same video and, at least in my observation, seeing very different things. All these prohibitions in the Constitution, this is not negotiable. This is the absolute bottom line. You cannot cross this line if you work for the government.
Federal agents claimed that Alex Pretty, a 37-year-old intensive care nurse, quote, violently resisted them, and that the officers then fired, quote, defensive shots, killing him. But is that what really happened? Bystander footage appears to tell a different story, one resulting in what appears to be an unarmed man being shot. There was a really good frame-by-frame review of this in the Wall Street Journal today, which I will link below, that sticks entirely to what can be seen on these bystander videos. So this is what we know for sure that can be seen. And by the way, we would have much more information if these masked officers were wearing body cams, yet they have chosen not to, so we have what we have. The issue here is, was this use of force justified, or was it not justified? It's not about whether Alex Pretty should have been arrested and charged with obstructing or impeding federal officers. It's not about immigration policy or even immigration enforcement policy. It's about whether the decision to pull the trigger and shoot him multiple times, ending his life, was reasonable under the circumstances as the law requires, no matter the political atmosphere surrounding it. So what does the video show?
I'm going to skip ahead in a minute. I'm just trying to.
On Nicollet Avenue around 9 a.m. local time on Saturday, locals blew warning whistles and filmed masked federal agents walking through Minneapolis's Whittier neighborhood. Bystander footage. Senior attorney with the Institute for Justice, is the primary person I wanted to hear from about this incident. He is a lawyer who just recently successfully took on the FBI when they raided the wrong home in Georgia, terrorizing an innocent family. He appeared before the U.S. Supreme Court on basically the same issues of federal officer accountability that we have here now. I knew that Patrick would be able to explain this much better than I could, and in a way that stands on principles of freedom rather than one that is influenced by politics and political bias. In fact, this was so
words
that I just couldn't cut any of it out. And I think that you need to hear the whole thing and also share it with your friends and family. So let's get into it. Are you able to give me like a synopsis or a good summary of what is the legal standard here regarding whether or not this use of force was justified?
Yeah, I mean, so if you look at the basic standard under the Fourth Amendment, we're talking about reasonableness, and the way that that's been interpreted is that before you're able to use deadly force, which of course, killing someone in the street is, you have to be in reasonable fear for your life or the lives of others. And there's some other exceptions for fleeing felons when you've witnessed a felony that aren't going to be applicable here. And so when we're talking about this particular killing in Minneapolis, the officers have to show that their actions were reasonable, and the reasonableness is going to be based on a reasonable fear that without shooting here, there was someone who would otherwise be losing their life or being seriously injured that would justify the killing of someone.
I didn't hear you say that any part of that standard is whether or not the subject they're interacting with is armed in some way.
That's right. I mean, so the beauty and the frustration with the Fourth Amendment standard of reasonableness is that it's a flexible standard, of course. So someone having a gun is not a justification for a government official to kill them. Someone having a gun and pointing it at a government official is. And so there's a lot of gray area between those things. And the same can be true for any number of things. Of course, we've been talking about, potentially using vehicles as weapons as the government would characterize it, or people driving past government officials as other people might characterize it. And, everything in one of these scenarios is very hard to put into a nice legal box, which I think is for the best because reasonableness does need to be a flexible standard, but also it's very frustrating for people because certainly in this polarized time,
or multiple angles of the shooting.
And my overall view of the situation as we understand it today is that this was not justified. This was an officer who actually killed Mr. Priddy was responding to
officers with a firearm. When the video, every angle that I've seen it, does not show that
video. I mean, the problem with interfering in abuse, I can find it in that video as someone who then just saying, nope, it's definitely justified.
One they do not sympathize with.
Yeah, and that's the greatest frustration for me or anyone who sort of takes a principled approach to the Constitution. There are people I think who are strong Second Amendment supporters who themselves and women in law enforcement is something that's protected by our
officers. And as we've discussed before, it's pretty much impossible to sue them. Even if we find a new video that shows undisputedly that it was an unjustified shooting, the family still likely could not successfully sue the shooter or shooters because they're acting on behalf of the federal government. Could you go into that some and the fact that they're operating with a total, I mean, it's one thing to say, all right, they're enforcing the law. We don't armchair quarterback decisions by law enforcement officers that have to be made very, very quickly, split-second decisions and all that. We can't always judge them in 2020 hindsight. I mean, it's one thing to acknowledge that, but it's another thing to say, we're not going to judge them in any way at all. If the feds don't want to do anything internally to their own employees, sorry, there's nothing that can be done at all. You cannot sue these people, and the state and local authorities cannot even prosecute those people criminally. I mean, there's zero accountability for whatever these guys do, and it seems like they know that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's several things I want to start with before we get into that, and now we're kind of zooming out to the bigger problem, I think. And so to start with, I think you're right. I mean, the federal government's not going to hold them accountable, and I think the statements that we've seen from people like Greg Bovino and Kristi Noem show that this is behavior that they want to encourage. I don't see any other way to interpret the fact that every time something at least questionable has happened, the immediate response before any evidence has actually been sussed out is for the government to come out immediately in full.
We're almost done.
Supporting their officers and completely and totally treating as villains, calling terrorists or agitators or whatever, something that violates concepts of federalism. And it, of course, is something that people just how completely insulated federal officers are. And one is, okay, well, maybe we can hold them accountable by charging them with crimes when they really act badly. So let's take this scenario and change it to be one where this officer is on video saying, hey, I'm going to go over there and murder this man, and then goes over and murders the man. So it's just as clean as it could be. There's no, disputes about what happened. Even under those circumstances, you're now left with a situation where state prosecutors, like you said, generally have a very hard time suing federal officers if their actions are taken pursuant to their federal duties. This stems from a case from the Supreme Court in the 1800s called In re Nagel, where a U.S. Marshal killed a man who was trying to assassinate one of the justices of the Supreme Court who recused from the decision in the case. And the Supreme Court basically said the Supremacy Clause means that, at least under some circumstances, state prosecutors cannot charge federal agents with crimes for conducting actions that are, quote, necessary and proper to their federal duties. And of course, there is some logic to this. We don't want to essentially allow states to make federal operations de facto illegal by simply arresting every federal officer who tries to engage in what is otherwise lawful behavior. I think that the Nagel decision has been read very lazily over the past century by the lower courts, and the Supreme Court has done very little to sort of rein it in. And so you see essentially the rule being applied is that if someone's a federal officer, they can't be charged with a state crime. That's not actually true. I don't think that's true under Nagel. I think there are also exceptions that need to be made for Nagel, and one of them would be if an officer is violating the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause shouldn't protect him. But as the law stands today, it's extremely difficult, bordering on impossible for state prosecutors to charge federal officers with crimes when the crime is committed pursuant to actions taken in the line of their federal duties. That leaves us with federal prosecutors who can, of course, prosecute federal agents. There's a statute, 18 U.S.C. 242, that actually makes it a crime, and the crime is capital if the victim dies, for a federal agent to violate someone's constitutional rights willfully. And the willfulness standard is basically the clearly established standard from qualified immunity. This is a statute that has been in place longer than the Department of Justice has existed. This is a Reconstruction statute alongside Section 1983. But the glaring conflict of interest, which of course is federal officials charging other federal officials with crimes, means that the statute is almost never used against federal officers. It's rarely even used against state and local officers. And so the big takeaway in terms of the one large way we can see accountability, which is prosecutions, is that prosecutors either cannot or will not prosecute federal officers when they break the law or when they violate your constitutional rights. And then that leaves it to us, the American people, to enforce our own rights. And I think that is a good system if it had the appropriate.
We're almost done. Just one more part of this is this is what I'm saying is so like
I gotta get going soon. So I hope it's not
when you have a lawless government, then it comes to the citizens, and then we'll go to business.
When you lives or dies is just completely up to you, and is violating what type of constitutional right. All of them are constitutional. And so if you find yourself in a situation where you think put a stop to this by ensuring that there is some way our Constitution.
Speaking of judges, I also wanted to get your take on this argument that I've seen online about administrative warrant entries by ICE.
To make us believe that, and there's very little to protect you as you're sitting in your house from someone else based on an administrative quote unquote warrant. Again, similar. That shows the government knows it's doing something bad. I don't have any warrants are. And the real frustration is these administrative warrants. Again, a administrative warrant, if someone says that to you, just imagine they aren't saying warrant at all. But the warrants here are particularly weak because the other basis the government cites for them is that they're based on an immigration judge's deportation order, at least to some attenuated basis. Well, the deportation judge, as they call it now, is not even
a BIVENS.
Warrant is not a warrant. These
how do I spell
BIVENS? Bivens.
Yeah, you sure?
Let me double check.
BIVENS.
It's not coming up in the transcript.
Deportation immigration judges.
Bivens action.
So again, it's
okay. Let's try action.
Bivens versus 6 unknown named agents. Jesus Christ, how fucking frightening is that? 1971.
Maybe it's because I didn't put. No. Muscular. Tort claims. Yeah, I think that must be it. Okay.
Tort Claims Act or whatever other cause of action is available.
So we can't openly offer representation because we have a review process that has to be approved by several different internal checks. But I can say for sure that I would be very interested.
There it is. It's BIVVEN.
No.
Well, that's what YouTube thinks it is.
Bivens cause of action. A few years ago in a case called Egbert versus Boulay, the Supreme Court took that away from us. And certainly whatever's left, it does not cover immigration officers because the Egbert case was a Border Patrol case. And the court explained that one of the reasons why you couldn't bring a Bivens cause of action was because of that context. And so then that leaves us just with these sort of oblique, more novel ways of trying to get at constitutional accountability indirectly. And so the main one is a statute called the Federal Tort Claims Act, which had kind of been pretty derelict in terms of doing what we now need to do with it, which is hold accountable federal law enforcement officers.
This is the last part.
That act allows you to bring claims for torts, which for non-lawyer listeners are kind of the legalese word for harms. And you bring the claims against the United States itself instead of against the individual officers. And so this is a very oblique way of getting at constitutional violations when you're someone like the family of Mr. Pretty, who's now probably going to have to bring a Federal Tort Claims Act case where they say, you committed assault and battery, et cetera, instead of you committed a Fourth Amendment violation. And then at the end of that process, if successful, you will get damages from the United States for those harms and not for constitutional violations.
There you go.
There's a Bivens Act currently in the Judiciary Committee. Just FYI. It's sitting there for now.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Anyway, that's enough of that. Please donate to Denizen. Get your link out there, Denizen. Please donate to Denizen. He is an integral part of the 10th Man Show. Wouldn't be as fun without him. Couple dollars, $2, $3, $5, even small little tokens of appreciation like that give us the vigor to continue to fight against the empire, the evil, evil empire of nightmares. And unfortunately, because people have been waiting for this all day, we're gonna do this again. I don't know how long it is. How long is this?
Oh my God, why?
I know. We were already almost through it.
You're defending Marte.
Answer the question. If you sent your ex, to jack off video,
beating up on a fucking woman because you're weak bitches.
All right. Yeah.
And I have to go get milk, but I can put it off. There's enough there for him for right now. If we're going to continue, because my husband is off work right now, I am going to give you guys until the stream hits 10 hours, 40 minutes. So you guys got 12 minutes to make even a small donation to either Denizen or I. If not, then I'll be shutting it down at 10 hours, 40 minutes because I think we've done enough for today. But if you could even
Agreed.
even if it was $1, I probably would go another half an hour. You know what I mean? So, if we see a donation in the next 12 minutes, then we'll keep going. Otherwise,
I
we'll shut this shit the fuck down.
Some of you feel like, maybe not some of you, but some people feel like this has already been talked to death and that there's no point in discussing it. I think clearly that is not the case, as we can see by the disagreements we have here among reasonable people, reasonable, well-intentioned people. And I would submit to you that not very many places on planet Earth, and especially YouTube in particular, are we getting into the weeds and the nuance and the historical and legal background of this situation as we do on these panels here. So if you're in the audience, make some kind of a suggestion that you're enjoying this content. So anything you can donate toward keeping this content going is much appreciated. No amount is too small. I know sometimes people say that, but they really don't mean it. But we really are a small operation here. If you could help, me pay for a new processor for my computer and help keeping 10th Man StreamYard account running, we can keep bringing you discussions like this. You could be
in all honesty, I would prefer you donate the Denizen because you may not be aware, you weren't here for yesterday's morning show. I got back from the doctor and my PayPal exploded. I took the links down. I was hoping you were going to show up because I'm like, no, that's enough money for right now. Holy shit.